Believe it or not, there are a lot of arcade legacy titles that still have active communities, and even some with growing numbers. Vampire Savior, BlazBlue, Third Strike, and many others still have impressive entrant numbers showing up at events like Combo Breaker and Evo. One game that has seen exponential community growth is Melty Blood Actress Again Current Code. With an over 20-year-old game breaking entrant numbers at Climax of Night, we went to investigate how this game with 93 characters, technically, and an unofficial netplay launcher can grow so large, so fast. We sat down with tournament organizer Enpicie to learn how their efforts are helping this game find a bigger audience than ever before.
First of all, I think all of these old games are still unique, right? Fighting games don't really die because there's never something that's quite exactly the same, right? Even from older to newer iterations of Guilty Gear, like you've got like similar characters, but you've got very different systems, and just those differences are enough, right? For Melty Blood Current Code, we have Type Lumina, and you preserve all your air movement. The games are both still known for their movement. They're really fast. There's a lot of options, but you know, in a lot of ways they're also very different beyond just the character cast. Like the whole sets of mechanics make them very different. I'm always saying that one of the biggest differences is the screen aspect ratio of 4:3 versus the 16:9 that we have in modern games. And I think those quirks that make Current Code unique are a large part of why it's still so alive today. Is you can't find anything that plays exactly the same or is very much like that game. Even in the fact that it is a 4:3 aspect ratio game with unique air movement, you get to take way more advantage of that vertical ratio, increased vertical space relative to your screen that you have in that game compared to other games. But I think Melty Current Code is still alive today because it's really unique as a game, has a lot of those old game quirks, things that don't work quite right. You find new interactions every set, but also because it's something that's fun to be a part of. There's a lot of other old games that have like really small communities, and sometimes there's a large barrier to entry, like you've got to learn a lot of tech to get into it. People have been playing the game for a long time, so it's really hard to kind of cut into it, right? But I think Melty Blood has this unique blend where the system mechanics empower you defensively such that even if you're on the back foot, even if you haven't played the game before, but you have a strong fighting game background, you can intuit around the game and make decisions. It's not a very offensively focused game. So from a fighting game perspective, it's easy to start navigating, or it's possible to start navigating without a lot of that prior experience and knowledge. Like I'm only a few years into fighting games myself, in the genre as a whole, and I'm playing this game. And so I think it's pretty simple to pick up.
It's right there. Ta needs one more hit. Yeah, Koki just running away as much as he can. Ta have two triangles up.
Koki almost had one hit. Could have punished the fireball, but just
nice catch, and Ta is your champion! Your champion from losers is Ta F. Lin!
The way I feel about it is I think that kind of that level of rawness and that feeling of, yeah, these are all people who are really about this game like that. I think that's a part of the appeal. I think that's part of what drives that, the unique feeling that you can get from being a part of scenes like this one.
Just as a natural people watcher, paying attention to how people grow together and interact with each other. So what it means to me to grow a community is there needs to be enjoyment in coexisting together, right? So I really like having a regular cadence of running events, making midweek first a monthly series and now a twice-a-month series with a bit of an awkward cadence. Because it gives something repeated for people to look forward to. You know, if you come in and you want to partake in a bracket, you already know that there's something to look forward to, something to get excited about. And people who are entering the brackets regularly can always have the next one to look forward to. So you create this shared basis for something for people to get excited for. And to me, that's like the start of something, right? It's not just that we're all here and we happen to play the same thing, but there's something to look forward to, things for people to talk about. There's some shared basis beyond this is just the game that we play, for people to get excited about. And from there, I think a lot of growing a community is getting people more excited for playing the game, right? Rewarding people for being invested, rewarding people for being interested. So things like starting the Melty Blood series, where I really wanted to have some sort of a unique prize. I don't like doing cash prizes for my brackets because, you know, as a free game, a lot of people will struggle also to make it to events. So if you've got money to throw at a bracket, put that towards getting to an event, right? So I started with the Melty Blood Beginner Bracket Series, which I made little felt puppet prizes for. Melty Blood kind of started as a cute name, but I'm like, you know, if I'm going to call it that, I should make a prize. And gives people something to play for, so people could partake in a series and work towards this prize where you get to take home some memento of your participation in the game, some mark of your growth from starting as a beginner and now finishing at the end of this series. Because I feel like with building a community, it's really important to reward people for that involvement. So I really have focused a lot on trying to get people excited around playing the game and incentivize, you know, being a part of things, looking towards the positive aspects of growth.
One more round of applause for Melty Blood.
So I kind of came up into fighting games knowing that I wanted to get into organizing. I've done event organization in other contexts for most of my life, whether it's amongst family friends or amongst communities that my parents and family were a part of. Started in 2024 with Frosty coming up thinking, you know, there hasn't really been a regularly occurring net play event in a while. So I should just start running something, give something for people to play for, give myself something to watch or be involved in. And I'm only free during the week, so let's start midweek mashers, and just started running a midweek series, midweek melting, that was first just one time a month and expanded to twice a month as Climax of Night 2024 came up.
People got anything and everything to talk about, but the truth of the matter is, how many other games are putting up their own events in lieu of first-party corporate sponsorship? You know, there are some games and communities that would kill for this kind of setup that some of those games have, right? You're no stranger to it on this channel, obviously. I can think of two off the top of my head. But there's something about going to an event where you know everyone else at that event has some kind of appeal or competitive draw towards what you're talking about. Not just the game, but of course just community stages like this one as well.
A lot of it too is the community making it feel like a fun thing to be a part of. Gotta shout out Zapoke, always posting the memes on Twitter before big events. There was a whole hashtag enter responsibly before Frosty last year that got really big numbers for the last couple years. We had 100 people in our last year's side game in 2024. And I think just those little social media things, and even just seeing that an old game still gets a lot of entrants, are things that kind of turn your eye to an old game like this and think, you know, maybe there's more to this than just being the bathroom game or whatever, right? Just being the game that has the funny cat character in it. You kind of get to take a look for yourself, get to know what this thing that has been talked about vaguely for so many years, has had so many side jokes thrown about for so long. You get to know for yourself what that's like and find that there's a really young, emergent scene for this game that invites you to be a part of it. So I think the combination of the game being unique and the community being something that you can become a part of and get to know, kind of what keeps people there.
I think it's a lot of it's on the backs of the Western community, who, along with these changes in the digital and, like you said, improved accessibility in terms of being able to get access to some of these games, information about them. The Mizumi Wiki especially, that's been a pretty invaluable resource for being able to get new people into it. I'd say especially in the better part of the past 10 to 15 years for sure. The West has definitely been better about kind of pushing retro stuff forward, I think. Jazzy Circuit comes to mind. Being able to push that overseas the way they have has been really impressive. And I think kind of in a similar way, the way that French break communities have always kind of rallied around certain events and taken some of these features or some of these things about it being available online in the way it is, and rather than looking at it as a negative, they kind of just taken that and ridden with it. And then there's a YouTube video called Battle by the Gazebo. You should check that out.
So guys, we're at BBG5. We're in the evening here. Got a huge crew still here chilling. From the team tournament.
It's about the game, but it's actually about a little bit more than that too. You gotta check it out.
Thinking about the future of Melty Blood is interesting because I am late to the game. Like, I feel like in a way we are currently living in the what was once seen as the future of Melty Blood, right? And actually competitively in a lot of ways we are as well. I've gone back and I've watched a lot of the old footage of like Battle by the Gazebo and stuff where people, like, I mean, literally it's videos of Spooky, Lord Knight, and Gina setting up at a park in New York just with plugging laptops to the power out there and playing the game, right?
Grand finals! Grand finals! Represent, go back home. What? I'll go back home with New York's money.
And now we've got Melty on the big stage, an event like Frosty Faustings, with a lot of people playing in the game. So I sort of feel like we're living in some form of the future of Melty Blood, because when I came in even a few years ago too, we're hearing people talk about, oh, if this game were played for money, you'd see people picking all the top tiers. The game would feel so bad because you'd see how unbalanced it is. But we're also seeing a lot of people right now picking up the stronger characters in the game, trying their best to get really good. Even though there's not like big money to win in this game, people are really sweating it out and grinding it for the love of the game. So I sort of see the future of Melty Blood as an extension of what we have right now. We're already seeing a lot of people appreciate the game for what it is, and even with its lack of balance, continue to do their best, whether it's picking their quirky character that they really like and exploring how much the system still lets you select defensively with shield, get really creative with unique offensive options like Necomech hits Neko Arc at you and is air unblockable. So whether we're seeing people explore these quirky characters or push the meta by delving into the creativity that comes with top tiers, we're seeing a lot of people just push the way to play the game even still right now, and especially within the last year or so. Like, I've been playing this game for about 3 years, and there's a difference in play from the past year to 2 years versus the first year that I was playing the game. So I think the future of Melty Blood is really going to see the fervor of players grow, push the meta and state of play even further, and also hopefully see other people start picking up and run more events. There's been a lot more interest in that in the past year. Seen some more local scenes come up. Like, I started with the rise of Toledo locals after New York had been pretty much the only place to regularly run that game at locals. Portland was running a local for that game. There's some small scenes popping up here and there in other places. So seeing as interest in the game grows, as people are getting better at the game, equipping more people to run events for the game, I think we'll just see this become almost like a BlazBlue, just one of those small old games that you see just popping up more and more places. It just remains one of those old games that is accessible to people who are interested in it. And it's a very good juxtaposition to the landscape of modern games right now, where right now you have games that are very intentionally designed, frequently balanced, right? You get balance patches at least once a year. We're looking at a game that is old, there's jank, there's 93 characters, it's not balanced, and there's nothing like it coming out today. So to me, the future of Melty Blood is taking that interest and just growing it to make it more accessible and enjoyable for people at large to keep getting into.
Keep playing current code, keep playing Melty, man. This game gonna live forever, man.